Yesterday's conspiracy theories, tomorrow's headlines. Most are still asleep and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines. Smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine. But the carnal mind is foolish, obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out, stop it. I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second itch to me just for me to sound honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds, and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they beat out. I'm not the way, no way. I have seen the way. Seek, speak, repeat, there's no relief.
Hello. Welcome everybody to the 509 Divine Pints podcast. I'm your host. Shit, I have these backwards. I'm your host, Joseph Daniel Pena. Hey, it is February 3rd, 2026. I hope that you guys are having an amazing year. I hope that you guys have started a new lifestyle. Like, every year, I always like to say you better put something new in your life, because otherwise you're just gonna be living in the same old lifestyle, complaining about the same old thing, doing the same old shit with the same old people, living the same old colors, and it kind of gets dual. We live in a beautiful world. Earth is amazing. We got like this land all around us, the water all around us, this technology all around us. We got ingenuity, creativity, we got inspiration, we got just like instantaneous adaptations through. We can order anything at the click of a button. We can get things here like within 24 hours. Just the world is so vast with creativity and instantaneous nature, right? Like this technology. We can like sightsee, go hike, we can just do millions of things these days. I mean, I know that like everybody questions freedom, but truly, if you just seek peace and seek the things that aren't going to get you caught in a riot and violence, and go find that peace and go find that nature, go find something new in life. Like sit down and reflect where we are in this world, where we are in our life, in the state or the environment of the town, the climate, the political climate. There's all sorts of different factors that add up to our daily habits, our daily choices, but they also have an effect. All of this, our daily habits, our environment, it has an effect on what happens over the next 6 months, the next 12 months, over the next 18 months. Like, you can't grow a tree without planting the seed. Simple. And once you plant that seed, you got to water it. Simple. And then once you water it, you got to allow it to feel the warmth of the love of the sun. And so it's in our life to be able to make these plans and then water the plants, and then be able to be grateful that like there could be all this riot and violence, where we could be caught in these protests, and we could be caught in gunshots and ice fights and all this, or even the like, I don't know, going off into war or different things. We could be getting caught up in, but like we're really not. That's why I don't want you guys to be caught up in any violence. And I know that like I promote like a lot of healthy things, and I touch on some very dark subjects, but I'm never ever I've never ever incited violence. You will never find that here, and I incite peace. You know what I mean? That's a funny way to put it, but I promote peace. Just like go say a prayer with like go talk it out, and go smoke, and go relax, go work out, go get away from all the violence. We have enough of that across humanity, and truly, it doesn't really solve anything. It causes an avalanche of worse problems. Man, I hope that you guys have a peaceful year this year. Everybody, our friends, our family, our dogs, our cats, animals, whatever it is. I hope that we all are peaceful because there's truly some shit and you don't want to be caught in it. Hey, you know what? I posted on my Facebook. I was like, thank God I'm marked safe today from not having any of my family, my friends, or my podcast guests on the Epstein list. And that's true. Like, there's all this dark shit, but like, if you are, away from all that, you should be pretty thankful. Like, I'm thankful. I never wanted to be part of that fucking wickedness. And it's a trip. Some people get lost in the sauce of the American dream and the occultic fiendish nature, the beast, right? The devilish nature they love. You know, yeah, I've never been that. And I hope you guys never choose that lifestyle. It's not worth it. You see all these celebrities, they're all fucked up. They're all cuckoo. They're all like they're just lost. You could tell. Like a lot of them are just completely dead. Like some of them completely ruin their lives. Britney Spears. I mentioned her a lot, but that's a very clear, obvious celebrity that was abused from the start. Britney Spears, and then boom, like she goes into psychiatry and she loses her hair, and then she loses her career. Oh, not just that, she loses all her money. Like, hey, Kanye and Bieber are kind of right there with them. Anyways, hope you guys like, subscribe, and share, and let's get down. Yo, there's more. There's more. There's a lot. There's actually like too much about this Epstein stuff that it hurts my brain. So I smoke a lot of weed, to like heal my brain. Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. So Epstein files expose Bill Gates, JP Morgan's plan to turn pandemics into profit machine before COVID. Woo. I will get more details and answers now, but what do you mean research and development? No input from the foundation into investments. Donors can choose from either a custom-made portfolio or a choice of silos, and to be able to switch mutual fund concept initially American initially. However, we should be ready with an offshore arm, especially for vaccines. The donor advised limits influence regrants, but allows great flexibility on investments. Anonymity is varied. According to both gifts and gifts from, also gifts to and gifts from, pooled is not really necessary, but it would be available for those that preferred it. So, like, how it was stated that a couple of these billionaires got extremely richer over COVID because they had the right investments. This is what they're talking about. So Epstein was also planning, like, oh, let's get I don't know, just like the top 5 most used companies at the time, and let's make sure that we have those stocks ready to buy into in our portfolios, so that right when we get the pandemic out, those stocks are going up. But no, not only that, we've already bought into them, and that's crazy. But yeah, we did see the rise of money in the elite class skyrocket so hard. These guys went from like millionaires to billionaires, and billionaires to trillionaires, and trillionaires to quintillionaires, and I just made that one up, but you get the point. The donor advised limits right here. Okay, sorry. Billions and billions of dollars the first 2 years, tens of billions by year. Timeline depends on JP Morgan's ability to organize legal structure, internet presence, staffing, exists in perpetuity with succession controls. There will be access to the current foundation pools a target, but I would be looking for both new opportunities with metrics for success. What role will the Gates Foundation play in vis-a-vis other donors with respect to the market sharing of research and development? Wow. So these dudes were sharing all of their COVID research with other countries around the world. So that's I would imagine that's how some countries got it really bad, and some countries got really, they were really concerned about it in a sense, China, and then there was some countries who really weren't because maybe their leaders didn't take the research and the money. Oh, also, if uh, what supposed race didn't get sick the most, it's Jeffrey Epstein Zionist race. So the supposed Ashkenazi, or supposed to have, I don't know, I guess they would say Jews, but like the Jews didn't get sick from COVID. It was just so strange. So they protected themselves by genetically modifying this fucking disease and be like, yo, let's pick and choose. Pretty wild, right? They're pretty much treating us like cattle, and we've said that, like, all conspiracy theorists have been saying this, like we're like cattle to these people, in essence. Next up, Epstein curates blood and semen art for his staircase. These properties weren't homes, they were controlled environments. The network uses for various operations. The art choices weren't random or aesthetic, and they weren't for Epstein's personal collection. This network is using an evolved Cold War psyops. They have created spaces that provoke disorient and normalize boundary breaking. So think about like this whole thing with like Frazzle Drip and that weird t-shirt that Ellen DeGeneres was wearing super a couple of years ago, and it was like bloody a bloody red face. It was so strange, right? It matched like the Wilson Tom Hanks volleyball. So and he put a red face on there, and if you know about Tom Hanks, that's a very like, yeah, that meant something else. N- Damn, it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane to think about, maybe what really happened on in that movie with Tom Hanks. It kind of messed him up mentally, but like he messed himself up mentally because he chose Satan. And so all this stuff, all this art that we were seeing with these guys, let's just say these musicians, they're all these dark musicians where they show these weird art, these weird drawings, and the presidents who have those weird drawings. These things are like straight occultic and part of their stuff. Um, yeah, pretty wild. We're gonna go to the next one. Right here, Epstein documents talk about Nipah virus, which would be their next doomsday strain. So this is their ultimate strain to like, I can't read this. This is too small. But all right, this is also documented in like the Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2040, Agenda 2050 from the World Economic Forum and places like that, where they predicted pandemic like a year or two before it ever happened, right? And then like they said it would take a few years to get over, and then it would be another few years before they release a more ultimate one. Ooh, a super ultimate duper virus. Ooh, I'm so scared. Yeah, dude, these guys, these guys are pretty sick. Next one, pair the ground penetrating radar and cadaver dogs. So over here in Zorro Ranch, which if you've been listening to my podcast, I've been talking about Zorro Ranch for a while. There's been a lot of people who've been trying to expose this, and the show that would best describe this, or the movie that would best describe this over at Zorro Ranch and what the elites are doing, is Westworld from HBO. Uh, there's a HBO show and there's an old school movie. Both of them talk about what the elites do at their secret cities with no rules, and this is exactly like what it is. It's their private city, their private ranch, and no rules for the elites. Obviously, we see in these emails they got no morals. So if they got no morals and no rules, ooh, no, 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 no. bad things happen. And this is not like a joke, because like, if you look at it from an ancient perspective, this has been happening for thousands of years. Like, cultures have been warning, yo, the blood eating cults, the cannibals, the cults who are sacrificing children, the cults who are worshiping these fired up statues of demons, and like owls and different shit, bulls and different shit. Um, it's been happening for a long time. So, like, this is only now trippier because instead of hearing rumors and hearing it at the bar and hearing it from so and so and different things like that, or you having to be in the public square when these people were being hanged 500 or 1,000 years ago, now we got the internet. Like I just said, we can figure out this research real quick, and like, and thankfully, the I don't know how to say this. The only I guess it would be the good guys in the government who are like I don't know how to fucking say it. Whoever released this in the actual government would be considered like half-heartedly good guys, right? Because, dude, ain't no way Trump or anybody wants these out, and it's messed up because, oh, look at this, everybody loved Trump. And I've been warning, like, yo, that dude's like pretty much Satan. And I'm just thinking about South Park. South Park is totally clowning on Trump, in bed with Satan. Literally, go watch the new South Park, and he's like making love to Satan and getting Satan pregnant, and then Netanyahu comes, and then JD Vance comes, and they mix it all of them. And oh, dude, the new South Park season, it goes and it pushes buttons I thought would be like too far. I mean, like, oof, man, they push all the right buttons. How about that? Huh? Anyways, let's get back to some serious stuff. Um, yeah. So it's talking about. Did you know somewhere in the hills outside Zorro Ranch, two foreign girls are buried on the orders of Jeffrey and Madame Ghislaine. Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex. Crazy. Well, then Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey flew to several African countries to scout girls while Clinton gave speeches on HIV research. This testimony, backed up by flight logs, details the disturbing scenario. The Secret Service was on board for Clinton among 4 women aged 20 to 22. This confirms Bongino's friend's story he has repeated a few times about Secret Service with Clinton on the islands. And then they're talking about Dan Bongino, which, like, it's kind of rough. He got put in a sticky situation over the last few years, and he's having to like be quiet. So he was a Secret Service member, uh, I believe, and way back in, and then he kind of got out. He started talking freely, and then he got, he got pretty much like gag ordered a little bit. So he's trying to say as much as he can without getting killed. You can definitely tell Dan Bongino, he's in a sticky situation because he was a bodyguard who got recruited, and he's like, fuck, he knows his life's on the line if he says too much. Like it sucks. It sucks for that guy. But Dan Bongino definitely has some credible stories, and Bill Clinton has been told many times to be, frequently doing his business. And about that, I don't even want to call it anything else. It's horrible. Anyways, people keep asking who actually runs the show. Um, throughout the Epstein emails, it says he's owned and controlled by Rothschilds, and then there's a whole bunch of different topics all throughout the emails. So the emails discuss neurotechnologies, brain science, neurotechs as weapons, pandemic simulation planning, health data systems, strategic deliverables tied to global health and defense networks, government agencies, global institutions, media response coordination and cover ups, economic controls and financial market controls, public compliance modeling. Uh, why were pandemics being simulated before they happened? So, truly, there's a lot of questions on why this dude had his hands in like everything. And it makes you think of Bill Gates too. Bill Gates had his hands in like every piece of pie he could financially. And he was like, he always wanted to be at the front of everything, or he wanted to be a big name and part of it. Interesting. These guys seemingly have a lot of money, like a lot, a lot of money, insane amount of money. Like we can't even fathom. Like we're over here struggling to like fucking get the best shoes and the best clothes and the best house, best car. Like we're struggling, to even make ends meet, and like lower middle class people, right? But then these guys, literally billions, millions, billions, millions and billions, billions and millions. How many times do I have to say it? These guys got, it's insane. I don't, it kind of like boils my brain to think like, how could, why is it seemingly like, that the whole thing about these celebrities, what they sell their soul to the devil for money. And some of the Zionist Jews say the same thing. They work with the devil for money. And like, all right, like it's it's kind of trippy to think like how, like, what is happening? Is it that there's this entity that they're not telling us about, that they actually see in person, that like can just like populate money out of nowhere, thin air? Um, it is what how I mean, like it's not just them making money out of thin air. Like there is some weird spiritual complex, like this weird spiritual power, this belief that they have. But it's not just a belief, it's like spirits are real, and so the good spirits and the bad spirits. And like it's a trippy thing to think about, when there's been stories from the porn industry where like they say some of these actresses and actors are literal demons. So they come in, they come in, and then when they leave they completely just disappear. And like their eyes are different, when we hear from these politicians and these rappers and these crazy people, they talk about lizards, and they talk about these things changing and shape shifting, right? They call them shapeshifters. And in the ancient past, this has been mentioned many of times, many of times. Many cultures talk about these fucking lizards, like these shapeshifters in a sense, right? These beings, these demons, these creatures. Like so, it's pretty wild. It's extremely wild to think that like there's these entities shaped, let's just say like these demonic entities, literally feeding the rich money. Money, 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 gold, jewels, gold, silver, protection, power. I don't even know what exactly. It's insane, right? But hey, that's not us. And just to bring this back to the start of this, like thank God we're not having that eternal affliction, because like the money doesn't bring them love and happiness and passion and positive, like just pure joy. They're so sad and depressed with all their money. They're striving for things that they'll never be pleased with, and that the rulers will never be pleased with. They know it, but it's all for the money, right? And they say it too. It's a trippy thing. Thank God none of my viewers out there are on the Epstein list. And if you guys are, ban yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I don't know if that's a real beat, but whatever. Next up, redacted individual fielded Epstein input on whether Nobel Prize winning physicist Murray Gell-Mann was worthy candidate for a secret society called Zodiac. that only has 12 members. Paul Volcker, Bob Piety, Tom Brokaw. Um, those are a few, I guess. Hmm. Okay. So we can see that all the best scientists are even part of it. Okay, now just a quick reference. Remember in 2002 there was a Balenciaga, that famous clothing brand. Well, they were in huge trouble because they were posting weird shit with kids, like weird Diddy Epstein type shit with kids, and they were like just all shy and nonchalant about it. Oh, no, you guys are tripping. So what? Oh, whatever. Don't look this way. And but yeah, you can see the pictures right here. They're pretty sick and twisted. Um, yeah, just to browse through them. So like, it's a little weird when you understand what's happening with these kids and who they are, why why they're being painted like you know these are the artists that they're working with, their main artists, their main fashion designers. Yeah. Oh shit, hold on, let's see what this was. Oh shit, so what the hell? So they're show oh man, it's like the adrenochrome going through the system and into the pituitary gland. Anyways, and Epstein files reveal that Israel hijacked control of the Bitcoin network over a decade ago. Um, and those Balenciaga pictures, those weren't even all of them. Like, I'll be real, the real rest of the pictures are a little fucking weirder. Those are like probably the PG Twitter safe. Epstein files reveal that the Israel hijacked control of the Bitcoin network. Israel is paying the salaries of 60% of Bitcoin's core developers and offered highly elusive gifts behind the scenes. Epstein and Israel are also major investors in Blockstream, a company that works with Tether and exerts significant influence over Bitcoin. They can manipulate the price by issuing unbacked Tether, controls the network's code because they hired most of the developers and own a majority of the nodes. This suggests Israel likely has direct access and influence over Bitcoin. The idea of decentralization is clearly an illusion, and it is deeply concerning that the network could be manipulated by a single state operating behind the scenes. Who would have thought? Huh? It is a bit trippy. Bitcoin, like, um, nobody really knows anything about it, but now we do. Or no, how about that? Nobody knew much about it until these emails came out. Here's another email. Jeffrey Epstein and Joska Bach discussed genetically engineering black people to make them smarter. He says that black kids have slow cognitive development and never catch up, and that their brains are slower at learning high level concepts. He says that it is genetic and not attributed to social factors. Josh Kabak is a German cognitive scientist, AI researcher, and philosopher known for his work on cognitive architectures, artificial intelligence, mental representation, emotion, social modeling, and multi-agent systems and philosophy of mind. I ain't gonna lie, dude. That's really racist. That's super racist. So like I'm telling you, these guys were ultra racist and ultra genocidal. Um, Bill Gates pandemic plans. Oh, let's see if I've already read this from a different article. Think so. So yeah, it's coming up a lot. Banks were involved with Bill Gates and Epstein to like literally destroy the world. Epstein's reading list. So oh shit. Let me do that. Rise and Kill First: The Secret History of Israel's Targeted Assassinations. Baron Edmund Rothschild: The Story of a Practical Idealist. Secrets of Western Tantra. The Vatican Exposed: Money, Murder, and Mafia. Merchants in the Temple: Inside Pope Francis's Secret Battle Against Corruption. Uh, I don't know. This isn't really diabolical. It's more like this dude researched a lot, and I don't know, maybe he was extremely pro Zionist. Well, that's obvious, right? But like whatever. Um, Next up, Aleister Crowley operates in a blackmail espionage network using black masses, orgies, and the abuse of minors to compromise targets. MI6 called Crowley venues traps for Air Force officers. Robin Bryans reported Crowley abused boys with police probing ritual evidence and unsolved murders. So the OTO, which would be Aleister Crowley, derived from the teachings of animal blood sacrifice, including toad crucifixion and goat throat slitting. Whoa! So toad crucifixion. Yo, like, isn't it a trip in high school? They make you fucking crucify and dissect the toad? Dude, they're putting people in. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about high school and shit and graduating college is that fucking square cap, that square graduation cap is also a very symbolic thing throughout the masonries and throughout these secret societies. So literally, the I don't know when, but like a lot of our schooling systems are founded upon the teachings of esoteric secret society shit. Like literally dissecting a frog, dissecting a toad in class. I mean, same shit right here. That's what they're telling us. This would be black magic. The supreme right would be to bring about a climax and death of a victim. By this right, one would attain the summit of magical art. Even better would be to slay a girl, preferably a willing victim. After violating her, she should be cut into 9 pieces. These should be not eaten, but divided as follows: heads, arm, legs, and quadrisected trunk. The names of the gods appropriate are to be written on the skin. The arms are then to be flayed and burnt. This rite should not be employed on any ordinary occasion, but rarely, and then for great purposes. It should not be disclosed to any man. Hey guys, you guys want to hear a crazy thing? Remember just what happened with this fucking David sicko? What happened with his girlfriend? Oh, she was cut up. Heads, arms, legs, all of that shit. And that, you know what? In that D4D whatever the fuck David dude, if you look throughout of his like his whole his catalog and everything, like it's pretty satanic. It's pretty dark. It's wicked. There's a lot of symbolism to show that he was into the dark Luciferian satanic arts and like. Oh, I didn't know this. I've never read this particular passage about their practices, but now I can't unthink about it because that just happened over the last like 6 months. Like that's insane because I did find it strange how the news didn't want to touch it. They knew that there was something more to it. They're like, oh shit, how do we talk about this? We can't like be too descriptive, but we can't not be descriptive. And so the news didn't touch it like on as much as big as a news story should have been. Um, you know. Because they're practicing all the same dark arts. Insane. So it says, then again, the master shall speak. Then again, the master shall speak as he will, soft words, and with music, and what else he will bring forward the victim. Also, he shall slay a young child upon the altar, and blood shall cover the altar with perfume of roses. The OTO is not entirely disingenuous in hinting that the meaning relates to the physiology of female menstruation. The secrets of the upper degrees of the OTO do indeed involve the employment of a scarlet woman whose elixir rubius is considered the effluvium of Babylon. the whore of Babylon, forming an important emission for the initiate who consumes this mixture as a sacrifice. So they're drinking blood, like they're drinking blood. Not only are they putting all over the altar, but they drink the blood. Um, insane. It says the ritual involves the crucifixion of a toad after baptizing it as Jesus. Oh my God! So they mock Jesus. Lo, Jesus Mather, how art taken in my snare, as I blot thee out from this earth. So surely shall the eclipse pass. I therefore condemn thee, Jesus, the slave God, to be mocked and spat upon and scourged and then crucified. Whoa! So it's not only the Jews, but it's also the other OTOs and these other like Church of Satan's and these other Freemasonries and things like that. Like they mock Jesus hard. I never knew this. Wow, there is no remorse for these fools. These OTO fools, these Scientology fools. I like Tom Cruise, I bet. I wouldn't doubt it. And that's not even a joke. It is clear that one can hardly dismiss all of the references in literature to Crowley to the blood sacrifices as figurative. Crowley sacrificed a male goat while it copulated with his consort, Leah Hersig. Crowley slit its throat, and Hersig's back was splattered with its blood. One gets closer to the truth by realizing that the communion served in the Gnostic Mass each Sunday night is composed of concoction of honey, wheat, and real blood, sometimes menstrual, but at least other times not. But from where is it procured? Animals have been used, but there are other possibilities. It says in the Book of Law, the best blood is of the moon, monthly, menses, and the fresh blood of a child. Sacrifice cattle, little and big, after a child. So, like, in the Bible, when it talked about the Jews were turning to the blood, all to the sacrifice to the cows and to the sacrifice of children, this is also part of like that same group of dark satanic fucks. Um, we're gonna go forward. The, man, this is touching on some heavy subjects. You know where you heard it here. You know where you heard it right here, Papa Nine. Nah, like honestly, a lot of this stuff has been out. It's just I'm having to recap this, and it this is exposing the dark elites, man. Screw them fools. Jeff the clip.
No, but I do have a good mirror. I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody
devil's
knows
what?
The devil's brilliant. You
No.
read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is at the number one or two archangel, and the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
Yeah, so like you can tell he's definitely possessed and inflicted and questioning reality, and he's over here like trying to just kind of joke about it, not taking anything serious. Here's a piece. Epstein files contain an email discussing the Netflix Canada documentary The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann. It mentions an episode that reveals how wealthy American men flew to Portugal on private jets to exploit children. Says right here, The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann is about a 4-year-old English girl who disappeared from Portugal in 2007 while on a holiday with her parents and siblings. In season 1, episode 3, Portuguese journalists referred to a scandal that took place years earlier regarding a child abuse in Portuguese orphanage. It is referred to as the Pact of Silence. In connection with the orphanage, Casa Pia, a journalist, states that it is a known fact that American millionaires were flying into Portugal on private jets for the purpose of sexually abusing these children. Huh. So wow. Don't go to Portugal. Um, Here's another piece. So Turkey sold thousands of underage children, mainly survivors of the earthquake in 1999, to Epstein's island for 200 million. Whoa. Each time they would trust one of these destinations, the same pattern of SA would occur, often with the vast array of aspiring models, actresses, celebrities, and other female. Oh man, yeah. Um, it, it's horrible. Yeah, I read this yesterday, but not on the right. I didn't know it was Turkey, the country that they were coming from. I knew that there was Ukraine part of it, called Brain Initiative, and it was picked up by Epstein's BG3 project, which was focused on disruption technologies, doing stuff with dementia. So pretty much they're trying to control the mind, so mind control and mind wipe and forget stupid. All right, guys. So here is Jeffrey Epstein's niece talking about her family. This is a 20-minute clip, so this is going to be a good little breather, and you don't have to hear me talk for a little minute.
The cult of Baal, B-A-L. My family masqueraded themselves as Jewish publicly, but behind closed doors, at Passover dinners, when I was drugged, would admit, we are Satanists. They told me that we belonged to the cult of Baal, B-A-apostrophe-A-L. They told me this with consistency while I was being abused. Now, what you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old, ability cult. And publicly, it's supposed to have been eradicated. But to my knowledge, this is what people perceive the Illuminati to be. It is a group of elites that practice it forced.
I had a feeling that was gonna happen. Uh, my connection over here, right? It started tripping the fuck out, and I was like, "Yo, this shit's gonna get shut down for a quick second." So, not like my whole house isn't getting shut down, but like DDoS attack, like probably a little spike just to like try to shut this stream down, but it ain't gonna work, bro.
Because it was done to them. Because having one man bear as many children in a generation as possible and forcing them through these traumatic events
So, don't mind the little disruption. What we are gonna do is just restart this. So look at this. This is Jeffrey Epstein's niece, and she's talking about the elite figures running a child trafficking network with the ancient Baal and demon worship, and so this is an amazing exposure from a family member from within.
The cult of Baal,
Oh, yes.
B-A-L. Family masquerade, at Passover dinners, when I was drugged, would admit, we are Satanists. They told me that we belong to the cult of Baal, B-A. They didn't see while I was being abused. Now, satanic fertility cults, and publicly advocated. But to my knowledge and my experience, it is not. This is what people perceive the Illuminati to be. It is a group of elites that practices forced and uses these crimes to control people. They happen to have a huge reach over politics and entertainment. To answer your basic question, why my family does this, because it was done to them, because having one man bear as many children in a generation as possible and forcing them through these traumatic events, they believe it creates a stronger bond, that creates more loyalty, that it keeps people from talking. And for the most part, they're right, because I'm the only one of my siblings who has directly spoken out about this. There are people who have hinted at it in their music. Of course, Justin Bieber has talked about being assaulted by Usher and Justin Timberlake at P. Diddy's parties, but I don't think it's a coincidence they've only gone after Sean Combs and not his other alleged perpetrators who were born into the bloodline. There seems to be a level of protection for people who are simply born into that world, contrasted with people like Sean Combs or R. Kelly, who joined as adults. But I was not in the boardrooms. I was a child on drugs. So I can't tell you exactly who organizes this, exactly how it happens. It's just speculation and memory.
And yeah, you're a very powerful speaker and you're very well researched. And we've had a lot of survivors come on. And we salute you, for the level of detail and knowledge that you have. I think it was David Icke who woke me up to the ancient cults and the bloodlines that continue to these generations. And I think you're the first survivor, perhaps, who's actually detailed how that has continued over the ages. So if you could maybe expand on that a little bit, I think the viewers would find this fascinating.
What specifically would you like expanded on?
So what was the cult that you mentioned earlier, the ancient one?
The cult of Baal, B-A-L.
Yes.
B-A-L.
Yeah.
I know very little about it. My family masqueraded themselves as Jewish publicly. But behind closed doors, at Passover dinners, when I was drugged, would admit, we are Satanists. Now, what I can understand, is the public has caught on to this, but they call them the Illuminati, who are illuminated to the cult of Baal, who has successfully mythologized themselves as the Illuminati and convinced people that they are shape-shifting reptilians, myths that can be perpetuated by the psychedelic nature of the tool that they use to abuse victims, which is used to delegitimize people who catch on to what they have been doing. And to be truthful, it was a reason I was anxious to come on here. When people talk about seeing men turn into lizards, it makes everything seem a little bit more delegitimate. Now, when someone has been given a powerful drug, their minds can experience something like that. They can witness something like that. And it's something that kept me very confused as a child.
They do say drugs make you see the truth.
In the material world, in this plane, I'm being assaulted by my father, my uncles, my cousins. But my mind is somewhere else. My mind is going on this fantasy ride.
She's kind of fucked up.
And when I awake, I'm very confused.
Holy shit.
I also believe there are people who have talked about these outlandish, metaphysical, impossible experiences intentionally to derail conversations about the cults and their power in media and politics.
How prevalent are these Satanists in high society, and are they disguised?
Yes. They control so much more than I think even I can understand. I told you my father boasted that his grandfather was Walt Disney. Now, I remember when Viacom bought Fox, but Fox held a hard line on not selling the news station. Steve raged and cried for a month because that would have been a full monopoly on the American news market. I remember meeting all sorts of politicians, American and foreign, and entertainers.
I think the viewers would be very curious then about Jeffrey, and what's your view on his role in the apparatus?
My understanding is that he, I met him in Aspen in 2007. And that was a reintroduction. My father said, "Hey, remember your Uncle Jeffrey?" And Jeffrey said, "Hey, Anya, it's great to see you again." Jelaine was there. What they told me was that Jeffrey worked for Stephen. And as I've said, he is guilty for what he did to those teenage girls here in New York City and down in Florida, on St. Andrews. But I do not believe he was in charge of orchestrating what has been going on in our family for generations. With my experiences, I believe he wanted to talk more about the other parties involved And I know he didn't kill himself.
And then
I'm not sure whether they let him go and get plastic surgery and flee the country, or if they did kill him.
she knew.
But I do believe he was a pawn, and that his story blew up in the media to keep people from looking beyond him. If Jeffrey was the one villain in charge of it, then, oh, he's dead, it's all over, everything's good now. And that leaves my father free to continue 3-year-olds and running Viacom from behind a veil while his paralegal runs his divorce practice, as he bragged about to me growing up.
So you're saying that Jeffrey wasn't involved in the full-on occult practices. He was just part of a machine, and then they just used him to make an example out of?
He was involved in the full-on occult practices, but not necessarily of his own volition.
Like he was forced
have
into it,
memories
probably.
of men being forced
Yeah, see,
to assault me when they didn't want to.
see, yeah.
I remember one man, this brilliant comedic actor, actually his better dramatic work. My father's screaming at him, telling him to penetrate me, and he makes one thrust and backs away, and my father gets outraged and says, "You're going to come. You're going to come." This poor man is crying throughout it, and I'm barely conscious. Jeffrey may have been involved in the full-on occult practices.
He was 1000%. But she doesn't know the full. She doesn't know everything.
One of the hardcore of this sickness where they are actually attracted to small children.
I think.
Yeah, Lady C mentioned that as well.
About proven wrong.
Hemophile or something versus. So, in terms of Maxwell, then, who do you think? What do you think her role was?
So this is Jeffrey Epstein's niece,
much like my stepmother did.
This is Jeffrey Epstein's niece.
I think she is as guilty of
crazy
as Jeffrey was. But I didn't know her very well. I don't even remember a conversation with her. I remember seeing her. I think she got off on the power of it. I think with men who engage in hebephilia, it's more of a sickness that arises from their own abuse. Like my grandfather, my alleged grandfather, Walt's son, who worked for the CIA, allegedly faked his death.
The hell?
To remove himself from my mother because he was so sickened by what he could not control doing to her.
What?
I contrast that with my stepmother, who delighted in abusing me and laughed at me when I was incapacitated by the drug they had me on, and made fun of me drooling on myself, being unable to speak. I think with her and with Ghislaine, I'm certain they were abused as children themselves, but there's a different kind of psychopathy that grows within them where they get off on the power of it and abetting in these acts to please their partners. Now, Kari Epstein was more sexually attracted to me than she was to her husband, Stephen. But she did also do these things in order to stay in good graces with him. And that was more out of survival. Kari was a very broke cellist in her early adulthood with no familial support, whereas Ghislaine also comes from the aristocracy. She had access to her own funds independent of Jeffrey. So I can't speculate too much on what she gained from it out of psychopathic pleasure and sadism. A Schadenfreude of sorts. But I'm not a doctor.
Wonder if she's still in jail.
She was not a large presence in my life. That speculation on her personality is primarily based on what I know about my stepmother.
So would you say then that some of the techniques used on you would be classified under the MK Ultra program?
Yes. Absolutely.
Could you explain that? Could you explain that for viewers who are not familiar with MK Ultra?
Okay. These drugs were administered to me when I was an infant. Macro doses were given every single time I was assaulted. And I was kept on micro doses the rest of the time in my waking life to maintain some control, some separation from my peers. I actually didn't realize until very recently that I was kept on micro doses, that I was kept on a small dose.
Why isn't she saying what fucking
life.
drug? We need to know what drug.
Analysis of what would happen when I went on school trips.
Is it like
away from Denver for a few days at a time? We would take trips to Washington, D.C. or New York or
is he gonna ask
California. On those trips, after 3 or 4 days, I would actually start getting along with my classmates. And they'd be amazed. They'd say, "Wait, Anya, you're really cool and fun. And we like hanging out with you." And I would end up being the center of the group and not understand why suddenly I'm connecting socially. But then we'd go back home. I'd see my family again. And the next time at school or at synagogue, I'd feel in my own weird little bubble again. So I was put on these large doses designed to knock me out when I was assaulted. Small doses to keep me complacent the rest of the time. What this did essentially was sever my memory. Everything that happened to me, everything that was boasted about to me, that occurred on those large doses was locked away in what I thought was a nightmare fantasy world. I was primarily unconscious for the physical assaults. And if I was awake, I was so high, I thought it was my own nightmares. This ensured I wasn't going to tell anybody about it. This ensured I thought I was sick. My family does this. The Cult of Ball does this. They do MK Ultra because forging these trauma bonds forges more loyalty. And 99 times out of 100, victims will choose being with other victims
and other abusers
over trying to speak to eventually prevent there being more victims. And I'm talking to you because the children who are going through it right now, one day,
they're going to
to wonder why nobody cared enough to try to stop it, to try to say something. Now they'll either find me or they will choose to keep their mouths shut because they will understand why, for the most part, victims of MKUltra choose loyalty over truth.
Insane. To continue forward now, Deepak Chopra forwarded Jeffrey Epstein a funding proposal from Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell in 2017. Dr. Diane Powell is behind the telepathy tapes and investigation into the alleged psychic abilities present in autistic children. So is she abusing them? Because oh no. Okay, so it says right here, and from Diane Powell, let me know the bare minimum for an initial study, including a collaboration with Ramachandran. I'm pursuing Templeton Foundation. So it says savant syndrome and non-local mind. What? So they know that. I think what I think is that they're not telling us, and there's a lot of redacted, is that they're trying to summon spirits into kids and summon spirits into these celebrities because there's a lot of redacted files. I'm not saying all these people or all these kids are demons. That's what I'm saying. I apologize. That maybe there's something to that in the redaction of why. But right here, this is.
Oh no, I'm gonna break my back. But
So this is telepathy tapes, investigation into alleged and psychic abilities present in autistic children. I don't know exactly. Hold on, I'm trying to hear, but it's hard to hear what they're saying because they're not.
good. And Mara, how about you do something totally different no one's done yet with their body?
Are they from a different country?
Oh,
I'm trying
thanks.
to figure out like.
All right, I'll try.
What the fuck? Where are they from?
Oh god, oh my back. Oh, that's what.
Good job. That was a good one. All right, now can you guys see what I'm doing with my body?
Oh, so he's hold on. Wait, so see they're there. Oh, god damn it! They should. That's what I'm missing out. So she's in the background. Here's she's saying they have the blindfold on, and she's like, "Can you see what I'm doing?" And they're mimicking exactly what she's doing.
Good. What about this?
Huh?
Nice.
Very strange. Very strange. It didn't just maybe it says apparently Epstein was in contact with Dean Radin and certain UFO research groups like the secret society called Zodiac. Radin was looking for scientific proof of magic and telepathic abilities such as spoon bending, and Zodiac was looking to reverse engineer extraterrestrial craft. Epstein was even in contact with AI scientists and transhumanists like Peter Thiel, as well as New Age gurus like Deepak Chopra. Chopra was then friends with Oprah, who disappeared from the spotlight after being associated with the sex trafficking John of God, who called himself the psychic surgeon. Before he was in prison, John of God formed a relationship with John Alexander, an army colonel who worked with the infamous Satanist and PSYOP officer Michael Aquino. Together, they tried to summon ETs and make mind control weapons. Oprah interviewed Aquino too. Nevertheless, Aquino and Alexander also experimented with remote viewing. This practice of psychic spying was originally developed by the medieval alchemist John Dee, who believed he was receiving messages from angels who taught him how to build crude alchemical computers. Supposedly, this technology was eventually used to create an advanced spiritual empire similar to Atlantis. Supposedly, Atlantis was a Christian kingdom that predated Christ, a Gnostic Christian kingdom. Hence, the Templar Crusaders that claimed they knew Catholicism's secret history. Aquino, Alexander, and even Epstein were fascinated by Atlantis. They seemed to believe that it would rise again during a new age after the masses were finally freed from traditional religions, especially Orthodoxy. So it should come to no surprise that Michael Aquino was involved in Turning Point USA and QAnon. These movements were diluting Christianity and introducing Christians to New Age beliefs, like the idea that angelic aliens will save us from the deep state and put an end to all the religious wars. At this point, Epstein looks like he was trying to pioneer another Project Stargate, which was a Mossad operation to begin with. Anyways, ironically, channeling sessions during Stargate revealed prophecies about apocalyptic events that would occur right before an alien named Ra would restore humanity's understanding of the truth. He would return alongside his galactic federation. And according to an Israeli space security chief, Trump already knows about this cosmic council. And why would a being from another planet name itself after Egyptian deity? It seemed that the alien entities that exchange magical technology for trafficked humans are just demons the people of Israel called fallen angels. So, like, it's pretty wicked. Where, yeah, I did notice, like, in the UFO groups, like, millions of people like research UFOs, but there's weirdos that make their own little UFO group and don't allow anybody in. And they call themselves these certain names, and it's super strange. Um and literally, like, they'll try to debunk anybody that isn't part of their system. And so, as you can see earlier in the emails, so Epstein was emailing a lot of these guys to be like, yo, I need you to debunk these other things and blah 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 blah, debunk this, debunk that, debunk this. But in the background, they were all doing it. So they just needed to put it to other people's minds that everybody else was wrong and that they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. But secretly, they were also funding the actual little mini groups that were making everybody believe in, like, specific alien saviors. So there was alien saviors going around. There was all sorts of different names. It was like, there was this one, that one. I forgot. I don't know because I didn't believe in those fucking stupid shit. I'm pretty based. I believe in Christ, and I'm not a fucking idiot that's gonna be like, yo, let me. So a thing would be like, these guys are literally worshiping aliens, like, straight up, like, no doubt demon aliens, right? One of the examples would be like how was it Kanye West? He made this, like, this huge post about the Raelians, pretty much this alien group that say they clone humans. And in the 90s, they came out with an interview saying they clone humans, and it's like, it's really weird. And they have, like, this weird, like, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's this weird symbol, and it's supposedly, like, they have this god named, like, Raw or something that's coming back, or Raelian or some shit. I don't know exactly, but that's one of them. There was another one, like Ashtar or some shit, I think. Yeah, they fucking, that's what I think I remember seeing. So these people were believing that there was, like, these alien savior god deities that were, like, literally just these psyop fuckers ran by these Zionists and, like, Epstein guys to, like, divert and control the masses. And, like, thank God I didn't really believe in any of that. Like, I saw it and I was like, yo, this sounds like full of shit. Like why is this like online fucking and like get real, get so real. These like people were falling for accounts online. These accounts would call themselves like what, like Ashtar, but Ashtar's commander, blah blah blah. Like it's so fucking stupid. They're like, yeah, we are extraterrestrial, blah 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 blah, and they would speak super fucking exaggerative and conscious and like fool people, right? And get people caught up in this weird little complex. I never believed in any of those, but I saw what people were falling for. It was crazy, and this is exactly what it's talking about right here. These dudes were, in the background, making deals with fallen angels for technology while like diverting the actual group, diverting humanity by like throwing in all these fake groups to make people worship these demons or something probably, and then it kind of confuses everybody. So when people figure out the real shit and who's really behind it, everybody's kind of confused, right? And so that's part of their plan. It's so stupid. Like it's pretty messed up. Next, conspiracy theorists said that Epstein had underground tunnels and bunkers on the island and were ridiculed. But guess what? Look at it. More talk about bunkers. Oh, sir, respectfully, confusion. Did you direct me at the white table to engage with John W. and forward the marked up corrections for his drawings for the new proposed laundry and staff area? Basically, concrete bunkers. You agreed? Yeah. Greetings. Following up on the discussion regarding the changes for mechanical building roof and engineering area. Huh. So, yeah, just like how Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, I'm sorry. I put the. I didn't see. I put the bong in front of my camera. Just like how Mark Zuckerberg turned his island into a whole ass like bunker and like underground base. Very strange. That's what all these dudes were doing. Every single one of them. Next up, Peter Thiel and Epstein discuss the grand plan to keep the U.S. isolated and keep the world a mess with lots of bad guys, so they have to do less to destroy us all. The intentional argument would center on making sure the U.S. gets less involved with the rest of the world, the more of a mess with just lots of bad guys on different sides, the less we do. I keep hearing your intentionality argument. Imagine if this mess is what Obama really wanted. Iraq, Iran, Libya, Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, Egypt. We would have to admit a strategy brilliantly executed. Yeah, so they've been talking about taking over these nations for a while now, and then now we're seeing complete genocide by the same guys who've been emailing about it for far too long without any oversight. But thank God, all of this is coming out because, geez, these guys have had like no authority arresting them, but now I bet you, I'm just gonna say this. My prediction, over the next 6 months, we're gonna start seeing like slight resignations, changes to companies, changes to like who's in charge, what direction some of these big time organizations and deals go with executives. Like let's just say like Paramount, Netflix, all these different things. Things are going to change up with big corporations, like in some ways, like management, CEOs, or even just complete what do they call it? Direction of allowance, like what the company, what the board and the CEO allow for the company to do. Like, you're gonna notice, oh, this seemingly like is getting less racist, or this seemingly is getting more open, or more, hypothetically, like like for the racist thing, like yeah, these sports seemingly still the world seemingly, America seemingly in this like Nazi thing, it's the law enforcement in a way, politicians in a way, it's not a lie that if you're not, you know, you know, part of them colored and part of their religion and part of their people, you don't get the slap on the wrist. Everyone else gets all the taxes. They get tax free. They got billions and millions, and they just work themselves to success through laws while we get stress. Anyways, um, here's a 32-page letter about it mentions Donald Trump. So a lot of this is transcribed. Oh, for let's see. Damn. So this girl's talking about this is a testimony from 67 in her last year of high school when she was in New Jersey. I think I read this, and you know what? This is pretty bad. So it talks about being sold through a ring, like an Epstein ring. It was being sold because she was religious that the Saudis might buy her. Yeah, I think I read this. It's hard to dude. There's so many emails you kind of just don't know, and they're kind of horrible. What is this? More about Zora Ranch. Yep. All right. So, damn. Why do they put these email? Why do they put? There we go. They should put this all on individuals instead of putting them all in like collaborations. 3 pages on one. You can't even read that, man. And here's a post. It's just talking about Jeffrey Epstein collaborating with Bitcoin developer, biohacker, and transhumanist Brian Bishop to create the first live birth of a human designer baby and human cloning within 5 years, and was conducting initial experiments on Ukraine. Sounds like you could be the first investor as long as an absolute anonymity is kept. I have always envisioned there would be anonymity requirements about babies. We can't publicly identify who these are and their parents or benefactors, and it would brand the child as essentially a freak for life in the media. So I had to assume the investor would need absolute anonymity for these kinds of products. So the financial structure needs to be designed with details in mind. This gets us out of our self-funded garage biology phase to the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibly a human clone within 5 years. Once we reach the first birth, everything changes and the world will never be the same, much less the future of the human species. So they've been talking about human cloning in the background, pretty wild, like it's nothing because they have been cloning, I guess, like it's nothing. Ghislaine Maxwell sent an email with a link to the story of Virginia Roberts going public about a billionaire sex slave operation. The Terramar Project. The Terramar Project, founded by Ghislaine Maxwell, was a nonprofit initiative launched in 2012 that claimed to promote ocean conservative and stewardship of the high seas areas beyond national jurisdiction. So, like I said, she had a submarine. She had access to the world's waters. She could go anywhere in the world and do whatever she wanted to in a sense, because she was also like part of like you know them peoples. So remember about a few years ago when they were talking about Wayfair and Wayfair having crazy prices. So it says Yaritsa storage cabinet 13,000, and then recently you look in missing kids and it says Yaritsa missing kid popping up around the same time as this cabinet on Wayfair.com, and then Annabelle shelf storage around the same time as a missing kid named Annabelle. Oh my god. Another one, Samaya. Oh, Samaya shelf. So why do these cost 13,000, 14,000? Why? Why? It's crazy, right? So there's really some more to it though. Shit. Oh. Epstein bought a $9,000 item. Let's see if it says anything about it. Yes. Oh, so it's a receipt. It doesn't say exactly what it is. It's probably blacked out, maybe. Who knows? Maybe not. But $9,000 for maybe one of these cabinets or couches. That's crazy, right? I mean, so now you have like direct proof, direct link that it wasn't just a conspiracy. This shit's real on these websites. I think even crazy places like Amazon and Walmart, maybe like online, you have to type in like these, find storage and then put the most high price and or something like that. I don't know what exactly it is. On Wayfair, they have these, like a lot, I guess. Suppose those weird commercials Wayfair was doing too, where it made it seem like super
selling everything from.
Here's another documentary about Wayfair, guys. Check this out.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
You have likely heard about it now. Allegations that Wayfair was selling everything from industrial cabinets, desks, pillows, and shower curtains at extremely high prices when in reality they may have been involved in child trafficking. It began as a Reddit thread when a user who noticed extremely high-priced utility cabinets on Wayfair asked if anyone else thought it was weird that there were female names in front of the descriptions of the items. Allegations that Wayfair was trafficking humans hit the internet around June 2020. Wayfair claims the listings were a mistake. It is our duty as citizens to not simply accept a company's denial of something. It is important we look past the limited research of fact checkers and ask deeper questions. This Reddit post sparked a string of discussion into whether or not Wayfair was selling these items as a cover for trafficking humans. Over a couple of days, it blew up into a huge collective research project on the internet, rife full of great questions and at times false information. Nonetheless, any investigative journalist would tell you there is something here that has not been yet explained, and further investigation is a must because these allegations may very well be true. Is it possible Wayfair involved in human trafficking with their WFX utility collection? Or are these just extremely overpriced cabinets? Note the names of the cabinets. Although Wayfair has come out denying allegations of human trafficking and claimed the products were a mistake, and removed the product images from its website and said it planned to rename the products were named Naraya, Yartiza, Samaya, and Aliva, ranging in price between $13,000 and around $15,000. Now, I understand that one or two of the people that were mentioned as potential missing people have come forward to say that they weren't missing, but this is very few examples compared to the amount of names actually found. Recognizing that the photos and descriptions provided by the supplier did not adequately explain the high price point, we have temporarily removed the products from site to rename them and to provide a more in-depth description and photos that accurately depict the product to clarify the price point, said Susan Frechette, a Wayfair spokesperson.
Right, let's talk about a conspiracy theory involving a furniture company. Have you seen this? The company in question is American. It's called Wayfair. As you can see, it sells furniture and home goods, but it's recently had to deny it's part of a child trafficking ring. All of this is originating from the QAnon community. We'll get into detail about what that is in a moment. But first of all, here's the theory. A lot of these storage cabinets on the Wayfair website have girls' names. A well-known QAnon activist noticed this and tweeted, "My spidey senses are tingling. What's with these storage cabinets? Extremely high prices, all listed with girls' names and identical units selling for different amounts." The suggestion being that actually this was about trafficking young girls. Well, Wayfair has said there is, of course, no truth to these claims, but that hasn't stopped this conspiracy spreading all around the world. Here's data from Spreadfast, a social media analytics tool. It shows the global searches for the term.
Lead Stories was quick to say the allegations were not true, initially stating, fact check, Wayfair is not selling human trafficked children on their website with very expensive cabinets. They later updated their title to say, fact check, no evidence Wayfair is selling human trafficked children on their website with very expensive cabinets. How did Lead Stories perform a full-on FBI-like investigation to find out what was possibly happening? Well, they just asked Wayfair, didn't they? Lead Stories claims Wayfair released a statement to Lead Stories on July 10, 2020 after a claim went viral denying the connection to human trafficking. Snopes was no different, claiming the whole idea is false, asserting that the claim that Wayfair is trafficking children is based almost entirely on one person's confusion over an expensive cabinet. This conspiracy theory, like so many conspiracy theories, started out on a wild, unfounded assumption. Their quote there makes it clear they don't understand the story, have not researched it deeply, and don't understand how investigations work. How do they know immediately it is a hoax? What investigation did they do outside of believing Wayfair? Is this fact-checking, or is this simply reporting on statements from corporations? What does this lead the public to believe? Is the story true? Or is this just another crazy conspiracy theory that no one in the mainstream media or fact-checking has actually taken any time to investigate? The fact is, many people on the internet who are sharp, grounded in their approach, and who truly investigate are better journalists than most mainstream journalists, including fact-checkers. The reason why all of this is so important to realize is because we are literally being told something is bogus based on no investigation. And this creates a culture that is completely uninformed to what is actually going on. We allow the Orwellian Ministry of Truth to shape our perception, not facts.
A moment of joy, a source of inspiration, an act of kindness, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. What's inside? Possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
Now, think about it. If you were going to spend $15,000 on furniture, would you be buying it from Wayfair? No. No, you wouldn't. If you put Wayfair product codes that start with S or C into Yandex, which is Russia's Google, you get pictures of small children. Workers at Wayfair said they didn't handle some of the ASAP items, and a special sales team handled those orders. Why do they have a platinum department to handle all of these missing kid name items? There was also some items with some strange names like Epstein and Ghislaine. And strangely, the price numbers were the coordinates to none other than Little St. James Island, otherwise known as Pedo Island, otherwise known as Epstein Island. You know, the place where Bill Clinton went 26 times. Let's look deeper at the CEO of Wayfair, Niraj Shah. In 2017, Shah became the director of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston while still maintaining his CEO position at Wayfair. The Shah Family Foundation partnered with Boys and Girls Club, where hundreds of kids were abused. One of the founders of the club is Julius Epstein. Can you guess whose grandpa Julius Epstein is? Yes, that's right. He is Jeffrey Epstein's grandpa. With these occultists, it's always a family business.
Yo, this gets crazier.
The wife of Wayfair CEO Julie Shah is on the board of directors of the Red Sox Foundation with Bridget Terry Long. Bridget Terry Long is a longtime advisor of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation who has close ties to the Clinton Foundation. So I've not verified it yet, but I do wonder, is the CEO of Wayfair, Niraj Shah, related to Rajiv Shah, who is the president of the Rockefeller Foundation and who also has big links to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? Well, less than a week after he was sworn in as head of the United States Agency for International Development, Dr. Rajiv Shah sprang into the national limelight when Barack Obama designated him as the government's chief disaster coordinator for Haiti. With some of the products at Wayfair, they use certain specific books for their product commercial pictures. Bloody Harvest is a book about Chinese government's organ harvesting on Falun Gong practitioners. Why would they display this type of book for selling furniture? They also had Haitian Friends displayed, which is really weird, and you wonder if it's all just a coincidence. So someone has done ELA Photoshop detection of one of the creepy
Bloody
photos
Harvest?
of the Wayfair site, which reveals this posted in content, which happens to be the book about organ harvesting and Haitian Friends, and Restless Earth, which is a book about earthquakes. Why on earth would someone be photoshopping these three books into this picture? Organ harvesting, medical operation in Haiti, and a book about earthquakes.
These occultists think they're slick, but hey, we over here, like, we study this shit. Everybody studies this shit. Like, we're just civilians. All of us, you know, lower middle class, like, we see it and we're like, oh, what the hell? This is weird symbolism. These guys think they're slick. These guys think they're so slick. Whoa!
Wayfair.com, and I see this one-of-a-kind Turkish hand-knotted thing. Now, I see a lot of people talking about this online, so it's
I'm gonna come back.
$115,000. Go to add to cart.
Right here. What does upside down mean, right? It's a symbol of Satanism if the butterfly is black. Now, remember, Ashton Kutcher, the butterfly effect, right? Why was he now sudden? Why was he linked to all of the trafficking rumors too? Now, this is wild. I had no idea this was in this video. But now with Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was like created, you know, it was like a whole new thing, and now there's been a lot of research. It's been a huge investment, a huge mystery. Everybody's been wondering who Satoshi is and who created it. And now the Epstein files are coming out saying, you know, that he knows the creator, that he's part of the creation. Well, there's a mystery, also another mystery about Bitcoin called the Circada 3031. And I covered it. Maybe a few other people did. But this was a mystery early on in Bitcoin's days where there was like a user going around leaving codes, leaving QR codes, and it had a butterfly. It had a black butterfly. Let's see if I can pull this up right now live. I'm going to see if, because I was just looking at this right before air. I was tripping out because like it didn't make sense to me why any of this would exist. You know, just does. So I'm going to see. Ooh, I can't pull up two streams at once. I'm going to pull it up after. So that's what I'm going to do. I have an episode 228, Bitcoin and Circada 3301 paradox and C5 2025. So if you guys want to watch this episode 228, Bitcoin and Cicada CICADA. I'm gonna just link it in the chat real quick. And so here, this episode goes into more of a deeper mystery with Bitcoin and the creation and the first 10 years and how they were leaking secret codes and secret messages, and they were leaving secret QR codes around the world. People would get the QR codes and supposedly they would get like money. And then the first it gets weirder where the first exact purchase of Bitcoin. This is word. This is, I'm gonna show you later, and this is like documented. Like everybody knows this as Bitcoin Pizza Day, where the first fucking purchase was on pizza, and it was like 2 pizzas. But what's weird is that in the picture of the dude who is buying the pizzas, it has 2 little boys, and they're wearing pizza shirts. And it's like at first, everyone's, I guess nobody really thinks about it until you think about it. And then now it's all making a little bit more sense where this is all coming from. If they all know in their circle who is creating Bitcoin, who has Bitcoin, who is the first, you know what? Hey, I wonder what pizza parlor made that first sale to Bitcoin. I'm gonna hey, that's something I'm gonna research on. Let's continue forward. This is interesting.
Wayfair.com, and I see this one-of-a-kind Turkish hand-knotted thing. Now, I see a lot of people talking about this online, so I decided to check it out. And I see this rug for $115,000. Go to add to cart. Continue to cart. Then I press proceed to checkout. Now, mind you, I didn't put anything yet. Now, this thing is saying billing address Marroni. That's not even my name. Maryic. So now that's really weird. So I'm gonna go to missing child's and I'm gonna type in her name. Marryi. Maria, I guess. Now press search and look. Merry cruel. Hold on, that's so freaking scary, man. It's not okay. The world is really messed up, man. Like, the world is messed.
As a result of all this activity with Wayfair, Walmart, eBay, and a few others were being searched, and lo and behold, there are a lot of online vendors selling things for exorbitant pricing with a connection to a missing child. So we also have their company description, which is and was quite interesting. Their recruiting manager is also named Rachel Chandler, which is obviously also the name of one of Epstein's recruiters. Andrea Jung from their board of directors is close with Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama. Their executives all came from Bain and Company and from the Clinton Foundation. They sold beds to concentration camps and lost over 2,000 children. Why do they have items on sale with the names of missing children for over $10,000?
So they're selling furniture, missing kids to ICE. Yeah, when people said ICE, where's the bad guys? Also, yeah, these guys, DHS, foster care. Do never trust a foster care. Don't ever put a kid in foster care. Don't ever put them up for adoption and all that crap. You do not know what lies on the other side for them. And from what I hear, the kids in foster care go missing. I mean, I've had people that I've like run across like in real life, and they admit what's happened to them, and it's horrible, you know.
And have the same item also for sale with no kids' names for like $100. Also, when the SKU is searched, why do only pictures of kids show up? They have a non-profit called Cradle to Crayons that provides aid to children, which is run by Lynn G., who came from the Clinton Foundation. Also, George Soros is one of their largest investors.
Look at his eyes. Soros is a walking occult demon.
If we are to truly wake up and create a world where we can thrive, we must learn to be critical in our thinking and snap out of the spell we are under when it comes to the mainstream media and fact-checking. Are fact-checkers truly asking the right questions? Are they truly investigating? Or are they just siding with the unscientific claims of the very people independent media is debunking? Why are they so keen on old Cradle to Crayon?
I'm gonna read this right here. What
snap out of the spell we are under.
So, I worked for Wayfair for almost a year. The boxes were so heavy. We had a certain door for ASAPs, meaning that they needed to get shipped within the last hour, and all the boxes were about 100 to 150 pounds.
When it comes to the mainstream media,
I moved to a different department later on. I switched to receiving, and when receiving would have boxes that come up as missing child. I didn't think of any of it till now.
And fact-checking. Are fact-checkers truly asking the right questions? Are they truly investigating? Or are they just siding with the...
Okay, there's two buildings in Paris, California, CA1 and CA3. CA1 deals with large items. That's where I dealt with the ASAP trailers. CA3 in small parcel, that's where I dealt with the missing But other than that, there are other sayings and receiving where manifest, ASN, Asia, UMA. I'm trying to remember what missing child it was, but I'm pretty sure it meant that a box had a different SPO and UPC compared to other boxes, so from different countries. And those green evergreen trailers that people see, that's linked to the Clinton Foundations and their trafficking.
Scientific claims of the very people independent media is debunking. Why are they so keen on debunking everything that seems fringe? Should we not allow fringe ideas? Are they not worthy of exploration? One of the reasons why this story is so important relates to Jeffrey Epstein and survivors of his actions. Those victims have stated that humans, including teens and children, are trafficked to very high people, including politicians and celebrities. Why would we as a citizenry want to allow this to continue by turning a blind eye and simply saying every allegation of this is false when we simply can't know yet?
Well, now we do. We got the fucking receipts from Epstein right here. Epstein, $8,000 Wayfair purchase. How much more proof does anybody need, dogs? This is not a joke. Got anybody to touch my kid, my family, my friends, anybody I know. Oh my god, it's insane. So there were people, the news was trying to call this conspiracy theories for the last 5 years because these guys were in on it. I'm gonna show more on this, man. This is crazy. I come with the proof. This is why the mainstream don't fucking like me. I've been trying to reach out to all these different podcasts, but it's interesting where I know only the independent podcasts, like now I can see it now like over the last few 2 years where I'm starting to see like, oh shit, ever since Diddy and all this Epstein, like everything's kind of been exposed. And then now it makes sense, like, oh, no wonder some of these mainstream type heads and voices never reach back out to me for collaboration. Like I would be like, hey, do you want to come on a podcast, blah blah, everybody. I emailed like thousands of just people on, everybody online, local people, people just in other podcasts, people that have great channels on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all sorts of different people. But now I understand that, like how they can trickle down into the mindset of these industry fuckheads where they're like, well, I can't, they didn't want to like associate themselves with a free talker like me, because some of these guys are getting funded by their agents who are part of that system or whatever, right? Unknowingly, it seems like more than half the industry now it seems like more than half the industry of these so-called adults in power, these politicians, these principals, these cops, these ICE agents, these foster care system, these DHS people, these anybody, like it almost seems like a lot of the government and doctors and counselors and psychiatrists and trained professionals seemingly are in on it, right? And what's crazy is that what you hear is that what is this? I forgot the saying. It's like, these Freemasons and these occult these occult practitioners and these Satan worshipers and these Zionists and so forth. They're like what devils in sheep's clothes, and so they're just walking around society, taking uh taking evil as it's like daily habit for them. And there's like, oh, it's just normal for them. It seemingly, it's just like they have no heart, no care, no compassion, and we're just pawns to them. Oh, you know what is like what all they all say, that we're goyim, we're Gentiles, we're unworthy. Oh yeah, and it's crazy right here. It's just it's all out in the open, folks. you know, like it's undeniable. Like, why are we giving them our money? Why are we giving these politicians our vote? I haven't voted for presidency ever in my life because I research each president and I'm like, nah, they don't have God in them. They don't have Christ in them. And you see Donald Trump, he don't got Christ in them. Biden don't got Christ. None of them. None of them. They're all like hiding occultists and truly devil worshippers. There might have been a few way back in the day, maybe presidents or leaders who but that was before my time. Shit. And that's for sure. Bill Clinton never, George Bush never, man, Mitt Romney? Oh no, not even close. No, him and Romney family. Oof, man, them and the Mormon Church are just about as dark as Epstein and them. Just okay. This, like I said, this is the water level of the iceberg. And so now we're gonna start seeing the Mormon Church go down. We're gonna start seeing the LDS go down. We're gonna start seeing probably some parts of the Vatican go down. We're gonna start seeing other Christian Zionist churches go down who are hiding just in small communities all across the nation. These Fed-like churches. These churches that seemingly pop up out of nowhere when they're not really teaching the right thing and they're kind of just making a mockery out of everything. We're gonna start seeing like more of these Freemasonries get taken down. I believe a lot of the Freemasonries will start getting exposed. We'll start seeing like more of the actual it's to say the leaders of the music industry get taken down, not the actual musicians, but the leaders of like the executives and the producers and all this. I think there's no way to stop all these dudes getting arrested or thrown in jail or indicted, especially since half of them are already having warrants from other countries. Like it's not a joke when we heard that other countries were putting warrants on American celebrities and American politicians and Netanyahu and all these people. Like, no, it's for real. These guys are coming after and wanting to arrest, extradite and pull these people. Like that's because they're going. What it is that like these celebrities are going into other countries thinking they're lawless, kidnapping girls from other countries, going over there doing whatever, this that, killing them, this that. The families find out, and then eventually trickles on into. And what's wild is that like yeah, there's corruption in other countries, but not like here in America. America was it's been a 300 Jewish project, 300-year Jewish project. Swear, like for real, ever since America got genocided 300 years ago, it's been a project by a certain class of people, while all the other countries around the world, they've been chilling for thousands of years. China, fucking, has been there for a long time, tens of thousands of years. India, tens of thousands of years. Parts of Africa, pretty much tens of thousands of years. Like a lot of these places have culture that's ancient. We in America, we no, not so much. We're filled to the brim of fucked upness for 300 years of dumbness. And other countries around the world, they're kind of smart. Like they've known this tactic. They've known these people. They've known the enemy. They're very, very, very aware of the enemy and the demonic nature of these dudes. And so like they're quicker to go after it. America over here is slow, pretty slow to get to it. So I just read that one already earlier about Gelman. This is super strange. In 2002, Ghislaine Maxwell's apparent nephew emails her a wish list of actresses he'd like to do nasty things to and ends it with a thank you very much for offering her all these things. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the strange video of Demi Moore when she was like 19 or something, and she was obviously at one of these parties. She was at one of these elite parties, and there was a birthday boy, like a 12-year-old, 11 or 13-year-old, and it's his birthday, and everyone's singing to her, and then Demi Moore is sitting next to him, and you could tell like she's like high or drunk a little bit, and like they're like happy birthday, and then she goes in and kisses him on the lips, and like yeah, full for like, and yeah, it's so strange. Like it's been I don't know, it's been weird. It's been known that these guys are weird like that, but now it makes more sense that these guys are putting each other on their wish list, their birthday list, and because they have enough money, they can do whatever they want because their agents control. They're like, yeah, it kind of sucks. These actresses and celebrity girls and singers and actors and stuff, they're going to these agents, and these agents are pretty much putting them here, putting them in. Oh my god! You know who is not on the Epstein list though is Mel Gibson, who actually was kicked out of Hollywood for exposing satanic Zionists. Ironically, Mel Gibson is working on the new movie, a new Christian movie, which influenced him to visit Eastern Orthodox monks for more creative inspiration. And in the Epstein files, the Eastern Orthodox Church is described as the last wall of defense against Western degeneracy and modernism. Like the KGB whistleblower Yuri Bezmenov once said, the only protection against demonic governments is turning to God. Hey, that's right. Turn to God, baby. This guy's like asleep in the back. He has his eyes closed. Yo, look at the tallest dude in the back. The dude just wasn't ready for the picture. That's funny. All these other guys are kind of smirking. They're like this is an awesome picture. Mel Gibson's an awesome man. Hey, he got Zins in his pocket. Yo, this is even more gangster. Yo, look, he got some little Nick pouches. Hey, if you don't know, I got my TikTok banned because I talked about nicotine being a cure for COVID, and for some reason I got banned. It was so stupid. They're like, yeah, you can't say that because and it wasn't even me. It was a doctor going on a 5-minute speech on the actual scientific process of it, which was crazy. Like, all right, so Mel Gibson right here with this Zen Nick pouches. So nicotine is pretty good for you guys. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna keep you healthy. This is a gangster picture. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody appreciate the greatness of God, even especially in the background too. You see all this garnishment, this furnishment. Amazing. Blessed be all of us. We're gonna go on. Did you know Ghislaine Maxwell and her sister Isabel were early developers of search engines, so like Google, but not like that, not that one, including Magellan, which was on the homepage of Netscape Navigator in the 90s and sold for $18 million. This is how they met Bill Gates. Some speculate the search capabilities might have been to catalog the blackmail data, which would make sense. So like that's why Google like saves everything. They're just tracking the whole world's data search. And who are they selling it to? They'll never tell you. Probably some elites though. Wouldn't doubt it. Epstein and Maxwell are alleged by an Albuquerque mayor candidate, Eddie Aragon, to have 2 foreign girls buried in the hills outside of Zorro Ranch. The email dropped after his death in 2019, and the recipient was redacted. The Mossad would have The Mossad would have called Dershowitz to debrief him on discussions with Jeffrey Epstein. Jared Kushner and John Kushner were both students under Alan Dershowitz. This is kind of pretty hard to read. They need to like put these in whenever they had it right here with Twitter, they need to put a little magnifying glass like other apps do, like other sites do, whatever. The Epstein files also suggest that Biden was executed by firing squad in 2019, and that Biden was replaced by an actor, which is what people have been saying the whole time. It wasn't, you didn't need to be a fucking genius to like look at a Biden who was literally, this word to God. There was a Joe Biden who at one point was like 6'8", taller than Donald Trump. And then at one point there was a Biden that was like 6 foot, way shorter than Donald Trump. And like you could tell because like it was just different body, way taller. But they try to make it seem like the same face with the mask and stuff, but you could tell from the body, not even the same walking, not the same cadence, not the same voice. Like every week or every month they would switch actors, or what it would probably be would be whatever city they needed. They probably just put on one of their little masks as an agent, whatever, you know, one of these feds. Crazy. Talking about cloning, yeah. So we're talking about like Biden being cloned. Check out with this. This is kind of wild. This is I mean, it's still speculative how real this is, but like I have never found an explanation, and no one's really ever found an explanation on like it being bullshit. So, oh damn it, I can't play it. So this video, if you want to check it out, would be of the rapper at the time, Kid Buu. And so on this video, I don't think I can play it from here. He shows his clone, and then immediately within like 15 or 30 seconds of them like being by each other, the stream gets shut down. And it's not from them going to the phone. You don't see their hands. No, it's like the network starts glitching, and the stream starts like being manipulated from the app, which is kind of like wild to think about. Next up, Epstein whistleblower claims girls were kidnapped from Turkey during the 1998 earthquake. Price for children were $300. And so earlier we saw that post about earthquakes being a part of it, and so I wonder, you know, especially with the whole Hawaii thing and what happened there. It's kind of rough. Just seeing how much more I have articles. I need to take a water break, and so let me be back in a moment. I will take a commercial break.
Not new, what I do. I've been at it for a minute, pursuing, doing the damage new. I would do everything that I said I would do. I gotta have it, so goddamn it, I'ma be everything I plan to be. Glad to see money coming my way, believe I'll achieve anything I put my mind to, or at least I try to. I'm avoiding my doom, manifesting my room. Meditate to ease the flow, third eye open, see the golden energy. It can enter me, get me to feeling full, forget my enemies. Dead to me, yeah, I proceed to go to a new dimension. Gotta mention it's inside our soul. Go inside, fuck the outside, never tell lies, show pride for belief. Gotta keep the range wide, so instead I just write another hit. Getting fried, rolling up, smoke another blunt for the good times, bad times makes for the good rhymes. So it never matters, I just learned, no I can't hide. Thank God for every second was birthed with the mind of an ancient soul who's just waiting for the next sign. I'm always watching, vision like a hawk, heaven flocking. When I drop it, talking have them knocking. Acknowledge that I'm dropping. I'm coming out the noggin, I'm logged in. That's the intuition, nothing wrong with doing what you feel is right. Everybody got this. Usually feel it in the night when I'm dropping knowledge. Never even needed any college, abolish. People telling people what they want, I do not wish control over anybody, do it for the profit. That's the reason that they push it, do it from the cockpit. Cause they got the money, want the money on the mob shit. On the mob shit. But I know they ain't gon' make it, shit is poppin'. At the end of time, new age topics. Revolutionary crusade crossing. We go to a new space. Yeah, we enter in a new place.
All right. We're gonna have a quick change. It is midnight, and so I am gonna get to bed, and I'll be back tomorrow. There's enough data on Epstein and all of this for a whole week, and so last year I believe I did about 3 or 4 episodes on Diddy, and I went deep into like everything, and so that was a bit way less disturbing. I'll be the Diddy stuff was way less disturbing because this is the Epstein stuff is like these, it shows the real colors of who's in charge, right? But this still isn't like the presidential level and the royal class level. Like if we ever get like files on what the queen and what the presidents are doing, oh, that's like probably times 10, right? Who knows though? I mean, that's just speculatively because of what everything that's came out with Diddy. It's like, oh, there's been a lot of stuff, but not to this level. Like these guys are killing people and like doing like super satanic rituals. Diddy probably wasn't doing the super satanic rituals. I think he was, I don't know. You know what? Maybe he was. Maybe I shouldn't care about them because as far as like how far how far they went. I mean, screw it. Whatever. They're all part of the dark side. They're all worshiping the devil. I don't give a shit. I worship God. I praise Jesus. And I mean, it's good to know though about what's being shown publicly. I mean, there's still a whole bunch of stuff that's not that's completely redacted, that is being purposely hidden, and I'll be honest, there's probably like this is probably only like 5%, maybe covers 2% of the current people in the world and all their crimes. So like who knows, maybe is what people are saying. Jeffrey Epstein was actually one of the world's most powerful people over the last like few years, especially if he had a Bitcoin and he like literally got like to ultra trillionaire level. If Epstein really was part of the Bitcoin success, then he probably got it from when it was like a penny and then put it all the way up to 72,000. So if this dude put 1 million, I'm just gonna do the math real quick. If he got this at 2 pennies, how about that? Let's just say 5 pennies, huh? If you got Bitcoin at 5 pennies, you put 1 million times 5 pennies. All right, that's right. That's 5 million. Then, oh no, I gotta put. Oops, sorry, let me put 0.5. So that's 500,000 Bitcoin, and then you multiply that times. Let's just say for now, do this proper. I'm gonna make it. Let's just say by the time Epstein died, it would have been like 80,000, right? So let's just say. God damn, this dude could have been like these dudes could have been in like the ultra billion levels. I mean, like hundreds of billions. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Because it seemingly people were the records go that literally Epstein just had all the money. He had all the money, all the power, all the people, all the connections, all the technology, all the labs. It seemed he was seemingly almost untouchable. He had all the passports, MI6, Mossad, CIA. Like he was in like all the intelligence agencies. And just perspective goes like someone who would probably be involved with it, the Bitcoin creation, and understanding like, oh, I could capitalize on this, and I got all the money. Shit, say less. So yeah, that is pretty interesting to think about, and I wonder if this is why the Fed is also so interested in taking the Bitcoin because they're trying to control it. They know it. All right, well, that's it, guys. I'm gonna wrap up for tonight. I'm super tired. You guys have a great night. Please say a prayer for everybody out there. Say a prayer for me. Say a prayer for you. Say a prayer for your family. Say a prayer for uh you know anybody out there that's hurting, that needs love, that you appreciate. Let's have a wonderful year. Yeah. And please check out all my sponsors down below. Donate to my podcast if you can. 509 Divine Pines at Cash App, PayPal, or buy me a coffee. You guys can go ahead and see all my broadcasts, multiple platforms. I'm currently airing on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble. I share this different places. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be going over some more Epstein bullshit. Peace out, guys. Have a good night. Be blessed. Be high. Love y'all. Peace.